What's up guys, I'm ImSidVicious and today I have another strategy for you guys, and this is going to be about Alva Temple and Delirium. Now this strategy is a little more involved, so let's just kind of jump into the Atlas tree and just kind of start talking about this. Now for the most part, all you really need are the incursion nodes, which is going to be half of our profit with the strategy, but I wanted a little extra challenge, so I added Delirium. And to scale up Delirium, I also added red altars to get some more pack size, I added some shrines to get some more pack size, and then of course the increase effect traditional setup for our Atlas tree. Now the thing why Alva and Deli work well together, there are a couple nodes that give you magic monsters from the temple, and you get like 4 incursions, and this just helps upscale Delirium rewards. And let's just kind of talk about exactly what we're doing here, and this is going to be primarily focused around temple building. So I want to talk about that, and then we'll kind of talk about Delirium. Delirium is pretty straightforward, right? You're just trying to fight as many monsters as possible and just build your Delirium rewards up. Alva is a little more involved. So let's just look at the temple, for example, and this is what your temple will potentially look like at the start. You're just going to have a bunch of random rooms, and what's going to happen is you're going to spawn into these random rooms when you are in maps, and after you kind of solve the room, you upgrade it, you kill the architect, there are ways to modify it. Now let's sort of focus on exactly what rooms to target. So let me just switch over. So here's the wiki, and there are 2 rooms that we are going to focus on. We're going to try to get the Gem Cutter's Workshop, and we are going to try to get, where is it? Corruption Chamber. Now these are the 2 rooms that we want to have in our temple. As you can see, we already have Corruption Chamber, which is very nice. And then we're going to try to get Gem Cutters as well. We don't have to have both of these individually. They sell for quite a bit, and the goal here is first try to get one of these rooms or both of these rooms, and then the second goal is to upgrade it all the way to level 3 where they will actually be profit. Now I'll explain in maps exactly how to do that, which is essentially kill the architect, but that's sort of like the idea of the temple, is we want to have these 2 rooms in our temple. Now the other thing is you also want to make sure these rooms are connected. So while you are doing the temples, you want to clear out the temple, and in the temple they'll drop these stones, and basically let's say you spawn in here, Surveyor Study, and you get one of the stones. You're gonna have the option of like a door that's connected to the halls. You're gonna have an option that's a door connected to the Poison Guardians, Corruption Chamber, and Vault. And what you want to do is make sure you are connected to sort of all the rooms. So the best idea would be to connect maybe like to the Vault or Corruption Chamber. Sometimes you get 2 stones, and when you get 2 stones, I usually try to go for like the middle as much as possible. That way, once I connect the middle, let's say I spawn in Poison Gardens, then I could branch off, etc. And then the secondary goal of connecting is also to connect to the apex. It's not as important, but let's say you get something bricked, you could sell those maps or chronicles if you wish. Not that important. Main important thing is the entrance is connected to the Corruption Chamber and Gem Cutters. Okay, that's the TLDR of building the temple. Now let's talk about the Scarabs. So let's start with the Incursion Scarab. Now the Incursion Scarab allows you to, at the end of your 4 Alva incursions to drop an itemized version of the temple. So currently, if we were to get an itemized version of the temple, we would have to finish all 12 incursions. Then we could take it out from Alva and then go sell it. But with the Scarab, what happens is after each map, at the end of the final incursion, it's going to drop an itemized version. And the itemized version is going to be random. So for example, like this one is random. And as you can see, here we have a gem cutters, right? And this is something we want. And what the Scarab also does is it can re-roll the tier of the runes. So even though we didn't get tier 3, we had a chance to get it, and that's how we get so many of these, because eventually you will drop Doriani's Institute, for example, which is tier 3 version of Gem Cutter's Workshop. And that's sort of what we're trying to do with the Scarab. We run all 4 incursions, we get the itemized temple, and if we hit one of the runes, it's going to be great. So in our first example, we have Corruption Chamber, which is very, very nice. We don't have to go, searching for it. And we have a chance at the end of our 4 incursion, even though we didn't upgrade Corruption Chamber, we have a chance of it to drop. We'll see in the demo exactly what this looks like. Now let's talk about Delirium. Now for Delirium, there's quite a different ways to go about doing this. I'm choosing to do Mania, right, for my Scarabs, because Paranoia is very expensive. It's about like 14 chaos, 15 chaos per Scarab. And if you want to make your life easier, you could run all 3 Paranoias, and this will give you a decent amount of rewards. But I feel like I was breaking even when I did this, so I just ended up going with Mania. Now the thing about Mania is it's going to make the maps a little more difficult, because it's going to build up Delirium much more faster. And what you can choose to do is maybe run 1 Mania. If your build can handle it, run 2. And definitely run at least 1 Paranoia. That way you'll get quite a bit of Delirium orbs. But these Scarabs are pretty straightforward. You're just blasting. Now the tricky part is this last one, Neurosis. This Scarab allows us to always have a Delirium boss in the map, and you're gonna on average get 2, sometimes you'll get 3. Now the thing about the Scarab is you don't want to finish the Delirium boss until you have roughly, I would say, 6 or 7 rewards. I try to aim for 7, so that way I fight the 2 Delirium bosses, and that will what the Scarab does, it increases your Delirium reward by +1. So when fighting the boss, if you have 7 rewards, you fight the boss, it jumps directly to 8. It skips all the progression. And then you fight the second boss, it jumps to 9. And then thanks to our Atlas node over here, when we fight the final map boss, it will jump 1 more time. So you have 3 +3 rewards with this strategy. So you want to try to save the Delirium bosses to the end. And I guess it's just time to do a demo. So let's just start. Oh, I think I might have put on Maven. I may have put on Maven. I meant to put on Exarch, but that's a little mistake. All right, let's get into the map. So we're just gonna run into Delhi, and as you can see, Alva's here, and sometimes the map also spawn. Let's see what happens. Okay. So this is actually funny. I can't actually show it, but as you can see on the minimap, you saw like 2 dots, and both of the map bosses or Delirium bosses spawn So what I would do in this situation is I'll try to just run past them and get into a temple. So let's see how that works out. So as you can see, they're over here. I'm doing kind of a lot of damage, so I really want to like put my totems down and get out, because I don't want them to kill. And as you can see, these are my reward levels, right? So I'm at 5 here. Okay, we got a third boss. If we get 3 bosses, this is actually pretty good, because you know, we'll jump straight to 9 rewards. And what we can do here is go into temple, right? So this is what our temple looks like, and there are 2 things to kind of talk about for temple, right? If you fight what I'll say is like the right side of the temple, you are going to upgrade the room. So right here it'll say if you kill the architect here, upgrade the temple defense workshop. Now the left side, or like the bottom left side, this is considered changing the room. So in our case, you know, we don't really care about any of these. Over here we want this to be either corruption chamber or gem cutters. Since we already have corruption chamber, right now we're looking for gem cutters. We still want to go inside the temple, right? Because we want to do the incursion. And what I would do here is I would just upgrade. I like to just upgrade everything and then change if it's you know, gem cutters or whatnot. So here we're just gonna go in, and when we're in the temple, it also stalls the delirium a little bit. So I'm gonna run straight up. Where is this guy? And then I'm gonna full clear. Let's see if we get one of these stones. So you can see we are, there we go. So we can press V here to bring up the temple, right? So if I press V, it's going to show me what the rooms look like. So first I'm just going to try to connect to the main. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to connect, and that's kind of the connection process. So here we have 7 rewards. We have 50 seconds to be in this temple, so we could like talk about what we want to do here. We have those bosses in the beginning. We're at 7 rewards, which is good. So we're just going to go back and fight all those bosses, and you'll see our rewards go up. So here, I'm going to leave him alone. I'm going to go in the beginning. Boom. There go 8 and 9. As you can see, they're pretty low HP. And then I'm going to fight this one. Boom. We're at 10 rewards. Now, once we get to 10, the map does become quite difficult. We got a shrine here, so it's gonna make the map look a little easy. So here, you know, when we get to 10, it does, like I said, makes the map difficult. So you can choose to do 2 different things here. You can choose to complete the Alva, or you can choose to complete the map and then run back for the Alva. So in case of making things a little bit easier, we're just gonna full clear the map and then do Alva after. As you can see, like, these things are not dying. Or I should say they're not getting one shot, right? They are dying because, you know, we have a pretty solid build. And here we go. And there we go. We got to 11 rewards. And once we hit 11, we can just end the delirium. That's like good enough. And then you can just go back. So in this case, a pretty decent rewards. We got a bunch of Scarabs. We got about 4 or 5 Deliorbs. That's expected. In this case, we only got a couple of splinters, 130. Depending on different things, you'll get like more or less splinters. So here now, this is, you'll see some of these rooms, they don't have tiers. When the rooms don't have tiers, they could both be changed, right? So that's why you're gonna have to like read a little bit. And in our case, the top room, the right side room, is actually a change room, and this one is changed to gem cutters, and this is exactly what we want. So we're gonna go in here and do gem cutters. We want to go up and fight this guy, and boom. Now for the most part, you could just straight up leave, but we still need to like connect everything. So we're really hoping to drop a center passage just like that. So if you get another one, okay, so we got quite a bit of time. So here, right, because this gem cutters won't be connected, I am going to aim to connect to the defense research lab. So let's check here. This is Poison Garden, not that one. Let's go over here. And this is defense research lab, which is exactly what we want. That way it is connected to the entrance and people have access. Cool, let's go to the next one. Banquet hall. So here, at this point, right, we have our two rooms, corruption chamber and gem cutter. So we're kind of pretty much good. We don't really have to do anything else. We actually don't even have to connect any of the rooms. All we can do is just kind of end the encounter really quickly. And if we want, we could like connect more things. But in our case, everything is connected. We have gem cutters, corruption, and the apex as well. So what I'm gonna do is to speed things up, I'm just gonna upgrade the room and then I'm just gonna leave. So once like the temple is completed, yeah, you just fight him and then boom. And this like speeds up your time quite a bit. Let's go back. I think I left the first Alva. Yep. Let's take a look. Cool. Same thing. Let's go in here. Fight this guy. Boom. And now this is going to drop a chronicle. So we wait. As you can see, it dropped a chronicle and this is what we collect. Now we got extremely lucky here. Alright, it actually upgraded all our rooms. So let's kind of go back. Took us like about 8 minutes talking through it and whatnot. But let's look at the temple. As you can see, the corruption chamber is tier 1 and gem cutters is tier 1 as well. And even though they're tier 1, we still got Locus of Corruption tier 3 and Doriani's tier 3. And that is the power of the Scarab. Where is it? Timelines. Cool. It looks like the prices are going up. It's roughly around like 40, 45. But yeah, I think I covered a decent amount about the temple. Let's just kind of jump into the profit and what it looks like. Let me just switch scenes here. And yeah, one thing with the strategy, of course, you know, I have my VOD here. You can go check it out, see what the maps look like. And let's just jump into our wealthy Exile and kind of break down the profit. So I ran this for a decent amount of time. We were averaging about like 6 minutes per map, and you know, we made about 80 divines. We made like 83 divines. Some are worth more, some are worth less, right? Also, depending on the day, these prices fluctuate. And yeah, I didn't select everything, you know. Contracts, we did drop twins. Got a couple nightmare maps, couple divination cards, right? Like you do get a decent amount. This is like what our Deli Orbs look like. We will get a lot of Deli Orbs, which is very nice. And then some Delirium rewards, some invitations, some Scarabs. And Simulacrum, we got about 29 in about 42 maps, so it's pretty good. Pretty good average. Sometimes, you know, sometimes we'll drop like a full Simulacrum, sometimes you won't. A couple of unique gems, some astrolabes, some cluster jewels, some basic currency. For the most part, I'm not picking up everything. I'm only picking up some of the things, and then of course the temple. And even the temple, this is not exactly priced correctly, right? So Locust is going to be worth more. That's a corruption chamber. And then Doriani's is going to be worth a little bit less. Okay, let's break down the profit and just total cost, etc. So for our Scarabs and maps, so 42 maps, 5C each. Mania, we ran 2 manias, so that's going to be 84 Scarabs, which are 2C each. Paranoia, about 14C each. Neurosis, 2C each. And Timelines, at the time, I bought it for 35C, but, you know, 40C, 45C, whatever you want to price it at. And we got to a total of 2,730C. At the time, 194 Chaos was 1 Divine. That's about 14 Divines for our total cost. Our revenue, 80 Divines. We're not calculating everything. We're just taking in the core things that we would sell. Total cost, 14 Divines. So you subtract that and we're at 66 Divines. 42 maps. We're averaging about 6 minutes per map. Again, you don't have to run it with Delirium. It's probably faster. So we only got 10 maps per hour. And per map, we were roughly making 1.57, 1.6 divs. And profit per hour, therefore, is 15.7 divs an hour. So if I was to change the strategy, you know, you could run this map like completely scoured and just purely focus on Alva. And if you purely focus on Alva, you'll probably make more divines per hour if that is what you are trying to go for. I just threw on Delirium just for an extra bit of challenge and just to kind of test out the strategy. But that's what I recommend going forward. And I think that's going to be it for this video. Feel free to ask any questions down below. You know, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you later. Peace.